live in my group and there was no sound. So if you caught it live, God bless you. Here's take two. Today I'm going to share from my life and from my experience as a big family mom of 11, a hack that I use in chores that I hate. There is at least one chore that every mom hates, whether you have 3+ kids or, almost at like a 15 passenger full like I do. I pulled the lovely women in my big family moms group and asked them, you know, am I the only one? Am I just a whiner, because I wasn't prepared for motherhood and I'm, still sometimes my own stuff comes up in the pressure of a big family mom life because I kind of grumble on the inside. I've got one chore I hate. And for me, it's ironing. So I asked them, do you have one? And oh my gosh, the comments. Yes, everybody who chose to comment was like, yeah, it's this for me. Laundry was a big one, mopping. And it's funny because it's almost like one man's junk is another man's treasure because some women absolutely love doing the laundry and matching socks. Other women, it's the bane of their existence. So I have developed a quick hack to help me with the chores that I hate. And for me, the big one is ironing. I put it off as long as I possibly can. When I do get to it, I start to dread it as my husband's slacks that he wears seasonally when it's cold enough for going to church, when he wants to dress up and look nice. And hey, I'm a full-time stay-at-home mom. I recognize that there are certain chores that fall to me, and I'm glad enough to do them. I don't like resent my husband. We don't have that kind of dynamic going on where he doesn't, pitch in with the maintenance of the household. We've divvied up the big tasks of just our life, and there are things that are what I call his department. There are things that are in my department. So that's not what I'm talking about here, that I just have secret unresolved resentment towards my husband or other relationship dynamics going on. It's just the chore itself that I don't like. I don't like ironing. There's no way to speed it up. And believe me, I've tried. All I can do is put it off. But when it comes to everyday stuff like dishes or weekly laundry, and if you're in a big family home, you might have laundry a couple times a week like we do. Just otherwise getting it done in a day would be insane. So here's a quick hack that I have developed. I've tested it myself. I thought it was so stupid and it wasn't going to work, but it has. It's really changed my perspective. And I can't say that I love ironing, but I don't hate it anymore. So I'll get right to it. What changed for me was flipping the script in my head. I actually wrote a blog about it today. So I expand on this a little bit more, but I'll just give you like the nugget of flipping the script because this was a big game changer for me. And it was so quick, relatively speaking. I thought it would take forever because I've kind of hated ironing as long as I've ever done it. So I flipped the script. What I did is I just kind of took a look at my internal monologue that I was saying to myself, the grumbling and complaining like Israel, grumbling about God providing for them food and water and, quail in the wilderness. But inside I had this grumble going on, right? I wasn't telling it to anybody because I wasn't outwardly complaining. I just was inside gritting my teeth. I just examined it and chose, and it was a choice because I didn't feel any feeling. I wasn't, the wind in my wings, and suddenly I had this epiphany of change, and sunshine and roses. It wasn't like that. It was a choice, and I chose to flip the script and tell myself a new meaning, a new thought that was true. It had to be authentically true, that I really deeply believed it and was tied to something deep in my heart. And here's what it was. Instead of looking at the slacks like I have to, oh, I have to do it again. Ugh, he's running out of pants. Why does he wear pants? Why can't he buy pants that never need to be ironed? Why hasn't somebody invented something that can solve all my problems? Instead, I flipped the script to I get to iron my husband's pants. And I focused instead on the pants, the ironing on my husband. Let me just unpack it for you real quick. I love my husband and he loves me. We have a really good marriage. I mean, we're not perfect people. There's always room to grow. But I love that man. We met when we were 18. We were saved at 21. We have 11 children together. We built a life. I'm getting all emotional. I look forward to growing old with him. And we look forward to grandchildren together. We have so much to be grateful for. And when I get to those pants that I've put off as long as I possibly can put off, instead, I think I get to serve my husband in this way. I get to iron his pants because he's alive. There are women who have lost their husbands. There are families that have been torn apart. My own parents divorced after 46 years of marriage. It's heartbreaking. I get to be loved. I get to love. I get to iron his pants. It's a small thing in the grand scheme of life. So I didn't shame myself like, get over it, Tara. Instead, I flipped the script and it worked. Honestly, within a couple of goes, because I don't do it every week, it's not a daily chore or even a weekly chore, but I noticed I changed. My feelings did catch up, but it began with a choice that I connected to a value, something deep in me that I believe it's true. I love my husband and I'm grateful to God for him. I'm so grateful that I get to be a stay-at-home mom and I get to serve my families in these ways. Like I'm not struggling with burnout when it comes to just the day-to-day chores. And in the early years before my kids were little, they were little, they were under 10. Yeah, I was training them and I still do train them because I have the whole spread of teens to you just heard my 3-month-old sneeze off screen. I'm bouncing her in her chair right now. I'm training them in chores and I'm at a sweet spot right now because I all of the early years of training my little ones, from a young age to pick up after themselves, to help with the cleanup, to put on their own socks, like all of the things that I do, the tricks, the systems, just the routines that I've learned the hard way and have developed and really helped in my family, they paid off. Now I have other people who can help. But ironing is still one of those chores that still falls to me. It's kind of one of more of those specialized chores that, yeah, it's good to train, your teenagers to know how to handle an iron and be safe and get it done. So I have help. I've been able to outsource effectively. And it's good life training for everyone to know how to do some basic ironing. You don't have to, but it's a good skill to have. Even if anything, to develop the heart attitude when it comes to chores that you just don't like, actually might even hate. So this would translate into day-to-day stuff that's, for all intents and purposes, depending on your phase of life as a big family mom or whether you have kids or not, it it could look like this when it comes to the dishes. Again, assuming that you're not having other related, maybe marital issues or other issues going on. It's just the chore itself. That's what I'm talking about. You could choose to flip the script and test it out for yourself. See if you get some results. Give it some time and just test and see if things change. If your feelings change as you look at the dishes instead of saying, ugh, I have to do this pile of dishes. Instead, I have a family that I get to love and I get to serve and I choose. I choose to do the dishes. That's my choice. And if you're having a hard time, you want to get some help, I talk about it more in my blog. And feel free if you want to get that. It's available in my Big Family Moms group where I share all kinds of hacks and tips and tricks and support and encouragement for other big family moms like myself who, we face common struggles and we get each other. We're not shaming each other for having a big family in the first place, but instead we're just going to rally around each other and share like a wealth of experience that I have learned the long hard way. And now I'm able to help other moms in a way I'd wish I had help in the early years when I was grumbling and complaining and struggling with a lot of day-to-day things, the practical logistics of organization and getting into routine, staying calm, like balancing it all, especially when there's probably going to be another kid in the next 2 years or less. And again, and again, and again, like big family mom life, right? Let's get real. So the blog is in there if you want to find out more when it comes to the chores I hate, because it's just one nugget that I shared in that. I gave 3 tips in that one. Oh, hello. Good morning, Cindy from Odessa, Texas. So glad you're meeting me here this morning. Uh, the chores. I don't hate ironing anymore. Don't love it. But when I come to my dishes, or I come to the laundry, and some days, I'm not feeling great, or I'm just whatever, it's just I'm done with winter. I live in Canada right now and everything is like brown outside. It's raining. The snow's going to go, but we're not really over winter and that can affect me. Seasonal stuff can affect me, levels of light. I'm such an introvert at heart. So sometimes I'm just, maybe not in my best overall mood. And then I face a chore and I'm like, meh, I don't know where to do it. I flip the script and I'm like, I don't know, Tara. It's like I have self-talk. I'm like, I know, Tara. But you get to take care of a family. You wouldn't have that pants to iron if your husband wasn't even here at all. You wouldn't have a big pile of dishes if you didn't have a family, this family that God's entrusted to you to love and to serve. And it's okay to get help. I talk about that. That's another topic. But if it's a chore you've chosen to do and you're willingly choosing to do it, Colossians 3:23 style, you're serving your family with gladness. and you're having a hard time harnessing the gladness, it might be something that you actually have more power than you realize given to you by God, because we actually choose our choices, we choose our thoughts, and they're connected to our beliefs. So if you do a little bit of examining, like, why do I resent this chore? Why do I hate it? Um, Maybe you just need to change the script in your own mind. Test it out, like I said, see what your results are. I'd love to hear if this is something you're like, I'm going to do it. I'd love to hear back because I want to see, is it only me? Am I the only one who had a flip script? And it really helped me with a chore that I hate. So I'd love to run a little social experiment, see what kind of results you get. So, and I'd love to also hear, is it quick? Because it was quick for me. It was really quick for me. It helped. So I hope this helped you today. Like I said, if you want to get some more tips and tricks as a big family mom, the link is below. And otherwise, I just want to make a quick mention that next week in the Big Family Moms group only, I'm hosting a Declutter Your Kitchen Counters challenge. It's like a mini micro course. I'm just going to break up over 5 days. I'm going to do some short 10 minutes or less videos and actually come alongside big family moms and help you declutter maybe a portion of your kitchen, just one counter, if that's all you want to start with. Or if you're like, no, feeling ambitious and I'm ready, it's spring, let's do it. The whole, you have a whole kitchen counter area you want to declutter because it's covered in keys and papers and kids crafts and vitamins and supplements and all little bottles and trinkets, and it's just overwhelming you, and you look at it and it's looking back at you, and it's time. So there's going to be that challenge happen next week. It's going to be so fun. We're going to have prizes. We're going to do it together. So if you'd appreciate some inspiration and some instruction on how to get your kitchen counters decluttered, then that's happening next week starting on Monday. I'll see you then. Until then, God bless you. Take care.